Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Unfiltered discussions. Unexpected guests. No topic is off limits, from sex and relationships to the human condition, personal anxieties, and so much more. The only talk show of its kind in the world. This is The Last Show with David Cooper.
Hello, welcome. It's Tuesday. Tonight, you'll learn a few things, but might be stupider for it. A better way to describe the show I could not think of. But here are what those things are. Could a few simple micro actions, like a small act of kindness, a moment of gratitude, watching a TV show about the vastness of the universe, actually improve your mental health? In 10 minutes' time, we'll discuss how researchers dove into the science behind these tiny habits and how they can create surprisingly big boosts in your emotional well-being, one day at a time, in a short amount of time. Sure, you could pick up a self-help book, but a lot of them require you do something for 5 hours a day. Who's got the time for that? After that, we'll cover how ticks are spreading more than just Lyme disease. It's called Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, and it's hit pets, likely where you live. And it can spread to people too. And it doesn't cause Rocky Mountain spots. It causes a fever, and it can be fatal. Halfway through the hour, how this dangerous infection is sneaking into your backyard and what you can do to protect your pet and yourself. That's just some of what we'll cover on the show tonight. There'll be more, but for now, let's jump in.
Want to be part of The Last Show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
Getting back to the basics here with foreign correspondent Tony Five and an angry seagulls terrorizing the town, specifically a Tesco news. We go to Tony Five with a very recent report from 2016 of a bird attack. Tony, welcome to the show.
My friend, we are essentially cornering the market on bird-related news, but I'm going to focus on a certain type of bird, David, the seagull. Predominantly a gull who lives by the sea, hence the name seagull.
Wow.
These creatures are psychopaths, my friend. I don't know whether do you get them in the States?
Yeah, what do you mean they've infected the world with their fry-eating, sausage-stealing presence?
Right, well, they're kind of everywhere. So there was one holding up, and I can only be described as holding up a supermarket in Tesco. He hauled himself up in the pet aisle, right? And he terrorized anybody that would go in the pet aisle. He was guarding it.
He was the guardian of the pet aisle. I mean, he wanted his bird feed, I guess.
Well, can you imagine? He's just like an absolute menace. He scratched somebody, territorial. People had to duck. It was like that Hitchcock film, Rear Window.
Yeah, that was the name of the Dogs, I think it was called.
I think it was called The Dogs, yeah. But I reckon that that supermarket at the time were considering offering like hazard pay to like employees that used to have to go in because of this seagull. It was like attacking them. It's absolutely superb. But he looked angry. He's gone from, like looking after sort of crisps and things like that to defending his own food. I think that's brilliant. There's like a gang of them. I believe that seagulls are quite territorial, and there's a gang of these guys.
A gaggle.
I think that's what they call a gaggle of seagulls. And they're probably writing on sort of a Yelp review, Tesco's, 5 stars.
5 stars. One worker was quoted as saying, "The seagull flew into the shop at about 8:30 at night, and I was unaware of its presence until it nearly flew into my head."
You know what? It's just crazy. But this happens so often. 2 years ago, there's another one. And the title of the article was Seagull Mugged Me. Now, do you have that phrase in the States? Mugging?
Yeah, we have mugs, like robbed, stole.
Stole, robbed, attacked, mugged. But the fact that a seagull could mug you is, I think, like an actually fantastic way of looking at things.
Where I grew up in Toronto, the seagulls were like a little bit sickly, you know, like their paws. Is that what you call them? Legs, I guess is probably what they're called. Their legs were feet. They were always messed up. Their feathers a little bit too ruffled. The beaks all kind of messed up. Like they weren't great birds. And then I moved to San Francisco, and it was a different, not breed, but a different.
Were they on meth?
They might have been, yeah. They were like
crystal meth.
These weren't tip-top shaped birds. Like you wouldn't be scared of them. And then I moved to San Francisco, and the Pacific Coast gulls, they were like sturdy and 15 pounds and stood broadly and proudly against the sea. You do not want to mess with those birds.
For those who don't know, a seagull is massive, right? They're not small birds. They're huge.
Oh, that's all. I thought there was more.
That's all I was going to say for those who don't know. It was a statement. For those who don't know, a seagull's quite big.
For those who don't know about this common bird that everybody knows about, here is Tony spitting out some facts about them.
Oh, they're big, they're white, and they've got orangeness on them.
Now, okay, so the Tesco gets evacuated. They just clear out the bird. That's the end of the story.
Well, we don't know whether the bird's still at large. I mean, it was like 8 years ago, so it's probably gone on. It probably did 4 or 5 times in hard time somewhere, like a penitentiary. It's come back out. It's on remand. It's probably on some sort of curfew at the moment, and going to other stores. But you never know when it might return, David. These ones, they hold a good memory in terms of where they struck.
They certainly do. The media said that the bird was captured and released outside without incident.
Well, that's what they say, David. This is big bird news.
Can we trust the media?
Can you trust the media when it comes to bird news, my friend? How do you know it was the same bird?
You can certainly trust us, but not the rest of the media.
Like I said, there's a level of intelligence quota that goes down when you listen to us.
Have you ever gotten into it with a seagull?
I've got into it with a pigeon, David, a different bird.
Okay, and what happened?
I was walking through, in London, there's a place called Trafalgar Square, which is famous for where tourists feed these flying vermin, and like 2 hit me on the side of the head.
Is it because you're bald and you're shiny and you look like the sea?
I don't know. As I was walking, they just came at both angles. I would say 90-degree angles, so east and west, which is the 90-degree angle, and they came flying in, and it was lucky I wasn't sort of hurt more.
Now, is it embarrassing? Like, to me, the worst part about having a mishap with a bird or some vermin in public is everybody staring at you afterward.
Well, no. Well, I got angry because one of them fell on the floor and I kicked it, which I regret to this day.
Yeah, you kicked an innocent bird, Tony?
Mate, he wasn't that innocent. If he come flying at me at a good 22, 23 miles an hour, that's a lot. The other one flew off, but he did look back and see me, taking out his friend.
What happened? The one you kicked, did you fell it? Was it dead? Like, what happened?
No, I kicked it. It went about sort of 7-8 foot, and then his feather walked out. He looked at me again, and then he flew off. Sort of bruised and angry, but and then I was on guard for ages. I mean, as an aside, I remember going out with a girl who was terrified of pigeons. She'd had like a really bad experience when she was young, and when I knew I was going to split up with her, I took her there.
Why?
Because I had to split up with her, and she had annoyed me, so I thought
you would torture her. You're kicking birds. You're torturing people with phobias. We're seeing an ugly side of you right now.
I know. I'm really so. When it comes to birds, David, it really brings out a really horrible side of me. But yeah, we'd had an argument, and we were about to split up, and I thought, let's go into London, and we parked up, and we walked through Trafalgar Square, and it's like like Washington State Square and all of these other squares that you guys have in the States.
Washington Square Park, yes.
I know. I always call it Washington State Square, which annoys you, doesn't it?
A little. So wait, you just tell her like, hey, I think we should just be friends, bye, and then let her just send her off in a flock of pigeons?
No, don't go, Tony 5, don't go. Please, we could be Tony 5 and 6 together. And I was like, no, let's just not do that. No, please. And I was like, okay, let's go into London and have a meal, we could talk over dinner. We parked up and I walked specifically through Trafalgar Square and she just shook like a feather.
There's something wrong with you. Something's
I
messed up
know.
in your brain. That's borderline torture right there.
Oh, she was crying. I mean, I was like in my early 20s. You can forgive me because of my arrogance of youth, can't you?
All right. So it was like, what, 20, 25 years ago?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, about that.
All right.
Yeah, it was good fun. So you can figure, I would never do it now. Now I would take them to the zoo where they're caged.
We're kind of starved for bird stories here, pulling all the way back to this Tesco attack in 2016. So if you've got any bird news, keep an eye out for it. Send it to Tony@lastshow.pizza. That's Tony@lastshow.pizza, not .com, his email. Send us any wacky bird stories, and we'll cover them on the show, because after all, we are the experts. And because we're the experts, we're asking you to help us.
Anything feather related, basically.
Tony 5 in London, England, thank you.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Coming up, a few small daily actions could transform your mental health. It's straightforward. After the break, we'll explore how micro actions, like a 5-minute thank you, a gratitude journal, even watching a TV show about the universe, can boost your well-being in ways you might not expect.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
When your therapist won't take your calls anymore, there's always the last show with David Cooper.
Suppose tiny everyday actions like thanking someone or quickly helping a stranger could actually boost your mental health. Well, they can, according to new research, and these acts are called micro actions. And today's guest, Emiliana Simon-Thomas, will explain how these small, joyful habits can make a big difference in emotional well-being after just 1 week. She is a science director at the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley. Emiliana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
So tiny micro actions, why look into this as a source of one's well-being? What got you curious about studying this area in the first place?
Well, a lot of people think that changing your well-being is either completely out of your reach, right? That it's just something that you're born with or you're lucky enough to have for a number of different reasons that are outside of your control. But actually, people can change their own well-being, but again, historically, the options for that have been pretty extensive. So maybe one study or one trainer or one book says you have to decide to make this wholehearted, extensive change in your life. You have to begin to meditate for 30 minutes a day, every day for the next 4 months, and then maybe you'll start to see a little bit of change. There are a number of different options out there, and they do tend to work. They tend to be effective, but they tend to be hard for people to take on.
Sure.
Tends to be too much time, too much effort. And so me and my team at UCSF, in partnership with a couple of filmmakers and social activists, tried to come up with a program that would be really easy. You could just kind of quickly swap it into your day and try a few things and see what happens.
I like what you touched upon there, the self-help industrial complex, like all these books selling you methods that might work, but they require 25 hours out of every day or rapid paradigm shifts in your life. I like to think of well-being and doing things to improve my well-being as like a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that. Gradual changes. And that's why I love your study, because you can fit it in that frame. It's just something you can do a little bit more. So let's get into the basics here. What are some of the micro actions that can help people feel better if they do them?
Yeah, I mean, David, you already mentioned one of them, and that is gratitude. And so we invite people in 7 minutes or less, and usually it's a lot less, to write down 8 things that they're grateful for. Just write it down. And gratitude helps you begin to think about goodness in your life, right? That's what gratitude is. It's recognizing something good is happening for you. It helps you connect it to something that's outside of yourself, right? You're not usually feeling really grateful for money that you've earned, for work that you've done, right? Gratitude is I feel good about something that's come to me in my life, and it's often about another person. And so just bringing that to mind, just writing it down, just becoming more aware of it makes it more likely to occur in your everyday experience as you're walking around the world. So gratitude is one of them. Taking a different perspective on a challenging life event, instead of thinking about it right in the middle and getting really wrapped up in it, can you kind of take a bird's eye view? Pretend you're looking down at yourself from far away up in the clouds and recognize that that little moment of adversity, it's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. It's a way to recover. We invite people to reflect on their ability to be heroic, right? Just for like a minute and a half, listen to a person guide you through this reflection of how good and strong and impactful you are in the world. We invite people to watch a video that inspires awe, right? Just gets you into that place of recognizing that there is vastness in the world. There are experiences out there that evoke or spark your sense of wonder and curiosity. And all of these experiences, in just a tiny bit of time, quickly shift how you're thinking, what you're thinking about in terms of your own identity, in terms of other people, and in terms of the world, in terms of the globe. One of our findings is that people, after 1 week, feel more generous. They're more willing to help others who are in need. They're more willing to make sacrifices to their quality of life in order to uplift the welfare of others and the natural environment. So there are these ways that just, again, these little tiny swap in a little bit more of this, I like how you said it, and a little bit less of that, tends to just help you walk and breathe through the world in a more balanced, contented, and pro-social way. And pro-social, it's kind of a weird word, but it basically means the opposite of antisocial. It's being concerned with and interested in serving the welfare of others.
I like this idea of watching Carl Sagan narrate a space documentary as making me feel smaller, but also the world being bigger. You said one of your goals of this is to have a well-being program that people would actually stick with. Mm-hmm. When you suggest this to people, this micro-action style, do they end up sticking with it?
That's one part of the story we don't know yet, David, because we haven't gathered data from people in a longitudinal way. This project was only designed for, come and join, tell us something about yourself and what's going on in your life. Here's 7 days, and at the end of 7 days, answer a few more questions about yourself again and your experience. We haven't done the follow-up 3 months later, 6 months later, so we really don't know about that. We're super interested. We're always trying to find research funding. I'm sure every scholar that you interview says the same thing. And that's what we need in order to do that kind of measurement. We hope so. We hope that the activities are relatable and accessible and kind of natural feeling enough that doing it even just once has its own reinforcing quality. Sure. Like if you do just try the random acts of kindness. I mean, it's not just a bumper sticker in Berkeley, California. If you just decide, I'm going to do 3 things today that really just make somebody else smile, and you reap the benefit of that, it feels really good. Next time you find yourself in a position to do that, you're just more likely to. But again, that's really just a hypothesis that I can't wait for us to have the opportunity to test.
Well, does it help everybody equally? Like, are people from different socioeconomic backgrounds? Do they benefit from these micro actions more? Am I more likely to see like boosted mood or boosted well-being if I'm a certain kind of person, if I'm a certain kind of group?
I mean, that was one of the questions we were so interested in trying to discover something around. We asked everybody about themselves, and we looked at differences between people based on what they told us. And in fact, people who are younger seem to benefit more from doing a whole week of little micro acts in service of their own well-being. People who are from lower socioeconomic backgrounds tended to get more benefit from engaging with Big Joy. People who with lesser educational outcomes. So, I mean, it's interesting because positive psychology historically tends to be more studied and understood by a more privileged population. And so our study actually provided some of the first evidence to show that, this isn't something that we only save for people who already have a lot of their needs met. In fact, it can be really beneficial to people who actually aren't having all of the advantages and privileges that that we hope everybody could have.
I gotta ask, on a personal note, what's your go-to microactive joy? Like when you're having a rough day or when you want to boost your mood, what's one that really works well for you?
Definitely the awe. Definitely, I'll go outside, I'll look at a tree, I'll look at chickens. I happen to have chickens in my backyard. I'll just watch them and wonder, like, what is going on? What does it mean when they dance around and peck at each other and chase in this way that I can't understand? Any kind of growing plant is just a moment of groundedness and inspiration for me. So awe is my go-to.
For me, it's gratitude journaling, which really helps me. Like my spirit animal is Larry David. I'm curmudgeonly, I'm negative. But when I gratitude journal, I do feel a lot better. It boosts my mood and I feel like less of a selfish jerk. But that's enough about me. Emiliana, thanks for sharing your research. I appreciate this chat and I'm grateful that you came on the show.
Thank you, David. So nice to meet with you and speak with you.
Emiliana Simon-Thomas is a science director at the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley in California. Coming up after the break, ticks are infecting pets with Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and humans are next. This disease does not cause Rocky Mountain spots, but fevers, and it can be deadly if it's not caught. Stay with us, because after the break, we'll tell you how to spot the danger, protect your pets, and keep your family safe.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Broadcasting intimate details and useless information from an undisclosed location in New York City. The Last Show with David Cooper.
It is Vet Talk, or is it Pet Talk? The name remains unclear, but the content crystal clear. Dr. Cliff Redford, veterinarian. Check out his podcast, Vet Life with Dr. Cliff is here. I started a sentence and then I added a lot in the middle, but I ended it properly. Dr. Cliff is here. We are going to discuss a fever that could be happening to you. If you are feeling rocky, if you are feeling mountain, if you've got spots, you might have Rocky Mountain fever. How to avoid it, what it is, and other questions answered. Cliff, welcome to the show.
How you doing, man? I need to get you to follow me around and introduce me when I walk into rooms.
It's a lot of words with not a lot of... It's a lot of... I feel like British people are like that. You have a conversation with a Brit, you're like, wow, they said so much. And then you think about what they said, it wasn't much at all.
That is exactly my point. You fit introducing me perfectly. I say a lot of words and I don't really say anything, though.
Where should I be worried about contracting Rocky Mountain spotted fever?
Spotted fever? Anywhere near the Rocky Mountains, I guess.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, like West Nile, you can get not at the West Nile. You don't just get that in Egypt, So maybe it's spread.
That's weird. It has spread.
It's not crazy.
It has spread. It has spread. You are 100% right. I apologize. I was wrong. You were right.
The Spanish flu of the, 1900s? You could get it outside of Spain.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so where can you get the Rocky Mountain?
I'm trying to think of anything else. I can't think of it. The big issue right now is ticks, which spread the Rocky Mountain spotted fever bacteria, as well as Lyme disease and Ehrlichia and anaplasmosis and all kinds of scary diseases. And they can cause veganism. Some of them. These ticks, we're seeing a lot more of them. And public health experts are now starting to diagnose specifically Rocky Mountain spotted fever a lot more frequently, generally around the sort of the southern Ontario and northern, New York State.
That's not the Rockies.
I know. You're right. This is it. You are right, David.
Wow.
You're
Even
right.
a broken clock should be thrown away because it's broken. It's scary. Ticks are so scary. And this is like, yeah, it's a fever. Yeah, it's a headache. Yeah, it's like chills, that kind of thing. But 1 in 20 people who are infected with this die as a result. This is a no-joke fever.
It's a no-joke fever. Lyme disease, which is different, but also spread by ticks, and Rocky Mountain spotted fever, it can kill you. If you do not get real doctor advice, real doctor intervention, human doctor intervention, veterinarians can treat animals for this, but animals generally don't die from these diseases.
So if my tick is sick, I can bring my tick to you to cure it?
You could. Yeah, you could. I would just release it back into... No, I wouldn't. I would give it a nice death. But no, you need to prevent this. You need to have your pet on a tick preventative because the pets can pick it up and then later bring the ticks into your house. But also, wear light colored clothing, tuck your pants into your socks. That's a look that's really cool these days, right? I'm a cool guy. That's what we were saying before this show started. Something like that. And if you gotta have a shower after you go on a hike. Do you have showers after you hike?
I'm not the most hygienic person in the world, but I don't hike. I don't care for nature. I don't really. I see pictures of nature. That's enough. I like a grimy city with smog and pollution. To me, that's lovely.
And no ticks.
Well, that's actually not altogether true. Sometimes ticks can be in cities. It's rare, though. My friend got chronic Lyme from a tick that her roommate's dog brought into the house. So, and she didn't go hiking. So, it's cities, you should still be aware.
Yeah, and you're in New York, and Central Park will definitely have ticks, and some backyards, if you're lucky enough to have a backyard. Backyards can harbor ticks, and those ticks can carry diseases. The big thing is if you find a tick on you or on your pet, remove it. Remove it right away. Make a note of where you saw it, even if it was on yourself, and monitor that area for a rash. If it develops a bullseye-like rash, you need to go to the doctor. Or if you experience any sort of symptoms, any signs of illness. The main sign for Rocky Mountain spotted fever, the main symptom is, what do you think?
Spots.
No.
Fever.
Very good. Very good. Gold star.
Yeah.
But you also get like a headache. You can get sore joints. Again, a rash at the bite spot. You can get diarrhea, unfortunately, swollen lymph nodes. Basically, if you're really, really sick and you have a rash from where a tick got you, go to your doctor, because then simple antibiotics, when caught early, kill this infection and you're good. But if it sort of waxes and wanes and eventually your symptoms go away and you think you're okay, that's just the disease going into remission. And eventually it can become more serious. And yes, 1 in 20 people die of it. So it's no joke.
Can we talk about a tick that's less deadly but is slightly hilarious? It's called the Lone Star tick. And the reason it's slightly hilarious is it gives you this disease or bacteria or virus that's kind of benign. Like it doesn't kill you, but it can affect your ability to eat red meat. And the reason I find it funny is because Lone Star is like the Lone Star State, Texas, and boy, do they love their 750-ounce steaks in Texas, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and the reality is, so it's called the Lone Star tick, not only because it's from Texas, the Lone Star State, but it has this sort of star appearance on its back, this sort of 4-pointed star, and yeah, I think this is proof that Mother Nature is fighting back. They're like, all right, argue if you want. Are we supposed to eat meat? There's ethical reasons. There's environmental reasons why we shouldn't. But they probably eat too much meat in Texas. And so Mother Nature is saying, all right, for you guys, you've just taken this too far, out of control. I am going to give you guys, some of you guys, a disease that turns you into a vegan. I don't know if then you get weird tattoos on your body and a pierced nose and blue hair. I'm not sure. Or you speak and upspeak. I don't know if it changes the inflection of your voice, but you become a vegan for a while because it injects into you or barfs into you. It sort of puts it through its mouth into your bloodstream, a protein that causes you to become allergic to beef protein. So not a true vegan because you can still eat chicken and pork and things like that. But I just like to say it causes veganism because it is kind of funny.
It's wild, and it lasts like, 6-8 months, up to 5 years. You get bit by a tick, you can't eat red meat. It's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, this might be the cure for heart disease and cholesterol problems.
It's like leeches in the old days.
But they still use leeches. They still use leeches. They use it for improving blood circulation when you've had like a amputated finger reattached. They will stick medically grade leeches onto your fingers that are aseptic and clean and grown in a laboratory specifically for this purpose. The vegans would not be very proud of this, that they are keeping leeches captive like in an aquarium.
So you're telling me like an emergency room in a hospital just has a tank of leeches somewhere to help with things like amputations and stuff?
Probably.
Whoa.
Probably. I don't know if it's in the emergency room because you go to the emergency room with your finger that's been cut off. They would then send you up to like a plastic surgeon type surgeon. Yeah, I guess that's right. But there is somewhere in a large hospital medical facility a aquarium full of leeches, and they're just ready for blood.
You can just keep my finger. I don't want it. It's fine. If you got to put leeches on to reattach it, I'm good. Just leave it off. It's fine.
Apparently they tickle. Like when it happens like that, it's sort of the sensation is that they're kind of tickling you. Like, all right, I mean, I need my fingers, so.
Well, furthering the conversation on Mother Nature fighting back, we will continue to talk about Texas, but not ticks. We'll talk about an aquarium where an octopus grabbed a boy's arm who came too close and injured him. The octopuses, octopi are fighting back. We're here with Dr. Cliff Redford, and it's Pet Talk. Or is it Vet Talk? Unclear at this time.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
Are you ready to dairy-free your mind? This summer, melt away your dairy-free expectations with So Delicious dairy-free frozen desserts. Enjoy mind-blowing flavors like salted caramel cluster, chocolate cookies and cream, cookie dough, and more. For over 35 years, So Delicious has been cranking up the flavor with show-stopping products that are 100% dairy-free, certified vegan by Vegan Action, and are so unbelievably creamy, your taste buds will do a double take. Dairy-free your mind. Visit SoDeliciousDairyFree.com.
We're here because your heightened awareness deserves heightened entertainment. The last show with David Cooper.
Dr. Cliff Redford is here. It is Vet Talk, Pet Talk. We're talking when animals fight back. And let's talk a very smart animal that maybe is too smart to eat, and yet some people do it. Maybe too smart to put in an aquarium, and yet aquariums will host them. Octopuses, octopods, octopi. Cliff, welcome back.
Thanks, man.
They are oddly smart. They're so smart, and every time I watch a documentary about them, I'm like, why would anyone ever eat this animal? And then I'm at a restaurant, and you know what I do.
I'm married to a Greek woman.
Yeah.
They love octopus.
It's very tasty.
And it frustrates her that I refuse to eat it.
You know what? I have no argument for someone who's like, why would you eat that? Other than I'm a bad person. That's my only argument. If you try to make a better argument, you're going to lose.
Yeah, you shouldn't eat them. Plain and simple. And you shouldn't put them in aquariums, David.
Okay, well, that leads us nicely to our next story. A boy was attacked, suction cupped, grabbed, injured by an octopus in an aquarium.
That's pretty much about it. So this 6-year-old kid was at this aquarium in Texas, and they have the touch tanks. And, the boy and his mother go there often, and he has touched this octopus many times.
One too many times, if you ask me.
Too many times, exactly. And I think eventually the octopus decided to climb half up the aquarium plexiglass and attach to this kid's arm. And then the kid started shouting, "Mommy, it won't let go. Mommy, mommy, it won't let go." And it took 3 adults to remove this octopus. from this kid's arm. And this whole thing went viral on TikTok, which is what you do, right? When you get videos of your child being, as she put it, attacked by an octopus, you put it on TikTok, of course, only to educate other parents.
Yeah, well, they have all those suction tubey cuppy things, like all over their body that they used to stick to stuff, and they can really suck and...
They can really stick. And the thing is so octopus have very unique, very good eyesight, but very different than us. They're practically aliens. They're so different than other creatures. But they also sense their environment and learn their environment through these suction cups. So these suction cups aren't just their fingers, let's say. They're not just Spider-Man's little suction cups so he can climb walls. They have taste receptors in the suction cups. So this octopus was trying to get a taste of this kid and get more information. But it essentially gave him a couple of dozen small circular hickeys. Because if this is sort of like the mouth, it has taste receptors, so it's kind of connected to that part of the brain. And it basically just sucked and kissed him so much that he developed these bruises. It's so sweet. Now, my issue is don't have them in aquariums. I don't like aquariums in general. I don't like touch tanks in general. And this octopus, probably said, all right, kid, you've come and petted me 3 or 4 times. I don't know anything about you.
Pat.
Where's this relationship going? Pat,
not petted, Pat.
Pat me. That sounds so strange.
Maybe it is petted.
In English, so I believe you. You touched me over and over again. You fondled me over and over again. Where's this relationship going? Now it's my turn. I need to know more about you. Introduce me to your mom. So I'm gonna instead of sucking your face, I'm gonna suck your arm.
Lovely.
Okay. And the woman does. They've returned, and the child has touched this octopus again. They've all forgiven each other, and there you go. I think the octopus just wants to go home.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm with you. I even find petting zoos a bit off, especially when it's like little kids running around torturing llamas. I'm like, well, every time a llama spits in a kid's face that, manhandles the llama too much, I'm like, you deserve that. You learned an important lesson, and good on that llama for teaching it to you.
Yeah, you mess around, you find out.
I, as a 13-year-old boy, did get my face spat on by a llama that I was attempting to pet a little bit too much. I never tried again,
There you go. It teaches you a lesson. Hey, look, they're animals. They deserve our respect. And my opinion is it's time to get rid of zoos and aquariums and everything like that and just have sanctuaries and,
Yeah.
Go online. Go online to learn about your animals, or come on to Pet Talk and Vet Talk and whatever this is and learn that one.
Who knows what we do anymore. Okay, our last story here. I always worry about my kitty's kidneys because he's got that weird thing where his urethra swells and then he pees blood and he doesn't drink enough water and we got to mix water in his food. That weird thing that's unique to probably my cat. Now, kidney disease is one of the main killers of cats.
It is the main killer of cats by far.
All right.
Yeah.
It is the main killer of cats by far.
Yeah. Yeah. More than 50% of cats die from complications or directly associated with kidney disease. It is their Achilles heel. And it's always a struggle to detect it. You can do blood work and you can do urine tests, and urine is a little bit more sensitive than blood. But you do both once your cat reaches a certain age. And we as veterinarians try and catch this disease when it's visible on lab tests but hasn't yet shown clinical signs. And then we can take steps to reduce or stop the progression of kidney disease and kidney dysfunction. But out of Washington State University, my friend, there is now they have done studies and they have determined and they've created a genetic test through a simple cheek swab of Tomato. They can determine if Tomato's your cat.
He is. Yeah. I'm just thinking simple. I don't think anything with him is simple.
This one would be pretty simple. They can just do this cheek swab and determine if he has the genetic markers that make him much more likely to develop kidney dysfunction.
Good. So, and then if you catch it early, you can treat it. There's medications, there's things you can do, and little kitty can live to 500.
Yeah, or maybe at least 20. Let's go with that. The average cat lives about 15 years. So let's try. If it goes to 500, I mean, what are you going to do for the last 100 years of your life, right? So what they're doing is they're testing this thing called the feline apoptosis inhibitor of macrophages gene, or what they call FAIM, which is FAME. Sing the song, FAME, I want my cat to live forever, and kidney disease makes me cry. Hi. That's my best FAME.
This is great, Cliff. Yeah, fantastic. Wonderful.
Good.
Thank you for sharing that. We're all dumber for having listened to it.
Apoptosis inhibitor of macrophages protein basically repairs the kidneys. It helps through filtration of what are called the glomeruli, the microscopic region of the kidneys that deals with filtering blood. And what they found is that some cats have a genetic mutation of this FAME protein, and that 86% of cats in this study, they tested 167 cats, looked at medical records, did these cheek swabs or took DNA samples if they already had samples from other methods in these animals. And 87% of the cats that had the alteration to this FAME gene developed some level of kidney disease much earlier. So we can basically find out if your cat, Tomato, is susceptible, and then go on do things like adding an omega fatty acid to the diet, which I'd recommend, a low protein diet, which I'd recommend, and then further have tests done, urine and blood tests earlier, and then we can catch it earlier, and Tomato will live an extra 5 years maybe.
Long live the kitties, early detection of kidney diseases. I like it. Dr. Cliff Redford, check out his podcast, Vet Life. Cliff, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, man.
Have you thought to yourself, given the opportunity to be on reality TV, would it be worth it? What are the pros? What are the cons? What is it like after you get home? And all the weirdos on the internet gossip about you. That is what we'll discover with a former bachelor in a moment. That's someone who was the bachelor on The Bachelor.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
The show that asks the questions other shows are afraid to ask. The Last Show with David Cooper.
From possibly sexy and steamy scenes in Canadian football locker rooms to rose ceremonies as the first Bachelor on Bachelor Canada, Brad Smith, Chorus radio host of The Big Bake on the Food Network, is here to discuss the pros, cons, and downright absurdities of being on reality television. Brad, welcome to the show.
David, that was an absolutely fire intro. I think I'm going to use that for my bio from now on.
Sexy scenes in the... How is the locker room... Excuse me. How is the... Yeah, that's the voice. Great job.
You got choked up. The locker room, in what sense? Because sexy scenes are not happening in the locker room.
They aren't? Okay. A bunch of sweaty, buff, rough dudes playing football? Come on, that's hot. That's sexy.
It is not in the colloquial sense, but it is, it's one of, like, when everyone says it, and you've heard, like, 10 million people, they leave sports and they go, I don't miss playing the game. I miss being with the guys. And the locker room uniquely is one of the most... you just can't describe it to anyone who's not been in one. It's the greatest place.
I played hockey till I was 12 years old. I know what goes on in the locker rooms.
Just maybe a little different.
You know what goes on? My dad being disappointed in me because I'm not a good player. That's what goes on in the locker room.
Yeah, no, this is everybody being disappointed in you or loving you. And I always say this to everybody. If somebody walks by you in the locker room and they don't talk to you, worry about them. If they're making fun of you, you're safe forever.
Good.
That's the love language in a locker room.
All right. Well, I quit hockey at 13, and my dad was pretty disappointed. My brother, at the same time as me quitting hockey, came out of the closet.
How old was he?
I guess he was 17, 18. Okay. My dad, he basically used the thunder of the disappointment of me quitting hockey to sort of sneak in.
To hide in the shadow of your shame.
Exactly. And then a year later, he joined a hockey league called the TGHL. I don't know if it's still around, but the Toronto Gay Hockey League. And my dad's brain didn't know what to do. Because he'd be like, I'm playing hockey. And then my dad'd be all excited. And he's like, but this is what happened in the locker room. And my dad would lose his mind.
I didn't know that existed. Can a non-community member join the Toronto Gay Hockey League?
I don't know anything about it. It might have just been a myth.
Because I feel like I wouldn't be fought there. Because I quit beer league hockey because when I got off The Bachelor, I started doing a morning show. And I played beer league hockey with all my buddies. And I came in one morning at like 4:45 to do makeup before going on camera. And literally they're like, what's wrong with you? I was like, oh, somebody, they all want to fight The Bachelor in beer league hockey. I got a stick in the eye. I had a huge black eye. And they're like, you can't do this. So I dropped out of beer league hockey because everyone wanted a shot at The Bachelor.
You got bullied. All right, let's get on topic here. Although I do enjoy wasting time with you.
Yes, sir.
Reality TV. Like when I see it, I'm like, wow, these are such great writers. So what a great script that they wrote. None of this is real. And my girlfriend always gets mad at me and she thinks everything is real. I know the reality of it is it's somewhere in between. Like it's a little more assembled. It's a little more cut in kind of a fake way than you'd think. But there's some basis of truth there. Is that a valid assessment of how it works?
That's as close as you can get to hitting the bullseye I didn't have writers on when I was The Bachelor, but every situation is set up. Now, is it set up by just the producer or is it set up like, in as a team? And I was lucky in my season that I was a bit of I want to say the word prick, but I wasn't like a mean person, but I was like, I want to do this the way I want to do it. So they let me set up a lot of the dates with them. And then the situation was situated so that you'd walk in and, I would know.
David, I tried to correct you with the commercial break. I don't go by Dave, Brad.
We're just buddies now.
All right.
So if you just understand that producers will tell you every bit of information you've ever wanted to hear without asking them a question, they'll just say it out loud. They think that you're not listening. So I used to call the girls the night before the date and say, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we'll, because I didn't want them to get in there and be nervous.
So wait, you were pulling the strings? You were the puppeteer?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was, they hated me by the end.
Love it.
They loved me because it was
the girls or the show or everyone.
No,
or the general public or yourself. You hated yourself.
No,
all of it.
Well, no, the show came off very well because they did a great job editing. They could have sewered me a lot of the times with stuff that was on camera, but I would go in there and they would be yelling from the background like, talk about your parents, or like, this is your chance, because every girl's chance for that one-on-one camera date, whether it's on Love Island, Bachelor, whatever it is, the producers are telling you go in and this is the time that you get to say your backstory. This is your shining moment. And I'd be like, don't say it if you don't want to tell me. We can just, they have to edit around us. Don't be forced to be in a situation.
Does it ever feel like the cameras are not rolling, or are you always kind of pretending they're not there?
Yes. No, for me, after the first day, because the camera guy was then the guy that I traveled with for 3-4 weeks at a time. He became my best friend. He was the guy who protected me. He called me the kid. He was the one who would say, I had a panic attack one time, and they're like, keep rolling. And he goes, stop. And he cut all the cameras because he was the lead guy. And he goes, we're not doing it to this guy.
Yeah. Well, nowadays they have like a psychologist on site and they prevent. But back when you did it, they weren't really protecting the contestants, giving them counseling, nothing like that.
The stuff that they did, David, to the girls.
Thank you, Brad.
Was
Bradley.
Psychological warfare.
Allegedly. We don't want to get sued. It was psychological warfare, allegedly.
No. Actually, the girls would fly in, and as soon as they would fly in, they'd be in a room for 3 days, no TV, no reading materials, no phone. They would isolate them so that when they got on to the first night, they hadn't spoke to anyone. They were so jacked up, and their first moment was on camera in front of me, so they would be so excited.
Yeah. Oh, that's how they got them to like you. Because it's not a natural situation.
They could have put a parking cone, and the girls would have liked them.
Exactly. If you put me on this show and you get 5,000 women, the odds are 0 of them are going to like me. I don't know why. How is it that all these women are supposed to like you?
Oh, it isn't. I wasn't everyone's cup of tea. It's just I felt like, growing up with my father and having a good understanding of natural PR because of what he did, that I knew how to make a good TV show, but at the base of it, they hired me because I was a nice person,
Nowadays with shows like Love Island, a lot of the, I was going to say blogosphere. What is this, the 90s? Like a lot of the TikTok theories.
On Reddit.
Yeah. Are that these people join the show for quote unquote clout. That word gets thrown around.
Yeah.
They join the show to be on TV, to be part of the conversation.
Well, and bank some money after on influencing. I mean, it's become a huge game. Like Jersey Shore changed it for everybody when they were showing up at bars and making, $50,000 to host. After the Bachelor, David, I did, I think, 40 bars in 40 nights for appearances because that's how I was making money while the show was, being edited.
Is that kind of why everyone's there? Like this idea that, you're not pure if you're not there for that? Or is it more of a spectrum? You're kind of there for that, but you're also kind of there to find love?
I went there to be on television 100%, but I also was, if you put the right girl in there, I'll find her. And, coming out of the CFL, or the Canadian Football League, for those who don't know, you're getting your head beaten in for no money, right? Like your average paycheck is less than the average salary in Canada. And you're doing this at a level where you feel like you should be getting paid more, but you can barely live. You can barely not work during the off season. So when they offer you a chance to go on national television, earn more money than you're going to make, but also too, do something, because I was a fan of The Bachelor, that's a weird thing to say, but I remember when I left the Edmonton Eskimos and all my buddies from the States, oh my God, Fred Stamps, one of the best receivers. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He came up to me. He's like, man, Smitty, can't wait to watch you on Monday nights, man. You're going to get it. I'm like, oh, Matty, I can't wait. And they would all have watch parties for the show.
I get it. It's funny. You define CFL. I live in New York, but the first job I got when I moved to the U.S. from Canada, my boss was from Phoenix, Arizona, and he loved the CFL. And he'd come and talk to me at my desk every day about it. And I'd be like, yeah, I love the Yellow Knife, Yellow Jackets. It's my favorite team.
The Saskatchewan and the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Yeah, it's how many Rough Riders? What, got 75 Rough Riders? How many Rough Riders do you need?
Yeah, they're not anymore, but it used to be. That was the great part.
But he loved it. And so there are Americans out there that do love the CFL. But I will concede this. He loved all sports. And he would watch luge. He would watch cricket.
No, CFL's great. It's just a very specific game because the NFL is a better product.
Brad, I'm not sure what we just talked about for 10 minutes, but I do know I've enjoyed talking about it with you. Ostensibly the pros and cons of being on reality TV. When we come back, I want to discuss with Brad Smith what it's like after the show with people reaching out. Because I myself, being a radio host, get ones of fans reaching out, and it's just very hard to fend them all away. I'm curious what happens after you go on a show like this. Like in terms of the people reaching out, any weird people, any odd people, weird fan interactions. That's what we'll discuss here with Brad Smith, a former CFL player, a host on Chorus Radio, and a former Canadian Bachelor.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks. Yeah, great.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lickpad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Where intellectual honesty gets witness protection from social prosecution. The Last Show with David Cooper.
We are back with Brad Smith, a former Canadian football player who describes the scene in the locker room as sexy and steamy. I can quote him on that one.
You did! I didn't!
Your fellow players are going to be angry. I mean, come on, it's a bunch of sweaty dudes, you know?
Buddy, where are you going down this rabbit hole? I will tell you that, yes, you are getting paid to shower with grown men, but that is
there's a dude out there who's not a football player who that's his dream job, okay? That's all I'm saying.
That is not part of the actual day-to-day where you're like, man, I can't.
So you claim.
Yes, you know, yeah.
So you claim. We're trying to address
some deep-seated issues here.
Not important. Okay, we're talking reality TV. Brad Smith was also the first Canadian Bachelor. Is that what you say? You say it twice, Bachelor?
No, just the first Bachelor Canada, I guess you could put.
No, you're the Bachelor, though. You're the Bachelor on The Bachelor, which makes you the Bachelor. And I am so curious what the pros and cons are of being on reality TV. Because when I watch shows like this, I'm like, I could never do that. But I just don't trust the show to portray me. Yeah. Like, I know I'm going to come off badly because that's going to be the best TV, right? Like, I'm going to crash out, as they say. I'm going to lose my mind because they isolate you. They take away your phone. They pump you full of alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink anymore, but when I used to drink.
Pump you.
And yeah, what possessed you to want to do it?
That's a good question because it's twofold. One, they had to protect me. I was the first Bachelor in Canada. They had to roll out the show. They couldn't make it salacious. And the second one with the alcohol was, this is before they rolled out the drink limit, because now you can only have a certain number of drinks. We were in this beautiful castle in Victoria, BC. It was a castle. It was a mansion, but they had this like castle style door guarding the wine room because the first 2-3 nights, while I'm away dating, the girls didn't have anything to do. No TV, no music. They just had to talk to themselves about me on camera. So all they did was drink. So they literally locked this castle gate to this wine room, and the girls were there every day at 12, which was the time it would open, just clinking their glasses like it was Oliver Twist. Like, please, sir, can I have some more?
This sounds like modern medieval torture, to be honest.
It was. So they had a workout room, and one of the girls was so in shape, and this is all she did. They had to close the workout room because she would never leave it. So what happened was when they would get the groceries in per day, she would do drop lunges with the bag of groceries, like the bags of groceries across the kitchen. It's insanity.
And this is the environment you're in to find your true love. It sounds a little off, but let's talk about what happens after, because like I was saying before the break, as a radio host of a national program, ones of people reach out to me every month, and it's almost too much to handle.
My mom.
Yes, your mom. By the way, are you proud that you're finally on a show your mom's going to listen to? Is that?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. She loves you. She loves you to death.
But your mom's side, which is a topic for another day, like afterward, the fans, they reach out, and I imagine not all of them are nice.
I was lucky. Again, they had to portray me in a way because I was the first guy. So they put me in the most beautiful spin you could think of, because they can't let the first Bachelor of Canada be this, whatever, because you're on camera 24 hours a day, but they cut, 7 days into 2 hours. So I had a lot of people reaching out in a very respectful, very nice way. But I then too had the, specifically one radio show guy, who was calling me out on the most epic national level and called me the biggest, P word you could. This is the guy. It was so. And then I woke up on Twitter one day with, I think it was like 4,000 mentions of all replies of how much of a I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't me. When you said radio, I was like, oh no.
No, it wasn't you.
So you had people calling you out, people calling you rude names.
You know what the weird thing was, David?
Yeah.
It was that you go from CFL, which is nobody knows you. You say you're one of one listener reaches out to you. CFL, nobody knows who you are, and then suddenly you get hired for this show. And then I have a 180-foot billboard in downtown Toronto, and I remember walking the first day that I was not on set. And my Hello Magazine Canada was there, and I was on the cover, and people were staring at me, and it uniquely felt like the worst thing I've ever been through.
Yeah, there's a scene in that show, How To with John Wilson, when he's doing like coverage on some weird story, and he just like goes up into Times Square, and there's a billboard for his show. That must be a surreal and maybe not good feeling.
I wasn't built for it whatsoever. You think that you would really like the attention, to be very honest with you. And a lot of these girls go on the show because they think that they would like the attention. They don't understand the attention comes with also too, that your dopamine levels get to points that you've never been at. You're so excited to be going through this process. And inevitably, a director told me this one time, you are the wave cresting, and that beach is where you're going to crash. And eventually it will come down. And when it does come down, are you prepared for that? And that's what a lot of these people that go on these shows are not prepared for, is to be irrelevant after, because it's eventually going to happen.
Like right now, this show aired Love Island USA, and all these contestants are part of every conversation. What they don't realize is in a few months, the next season airs with an all new quote unquote cast or contestants. I don't even know what you call them. And it's like, okay, now what's normal for them is millions of people talking about them.
As soon as the next person comes on, you are officially done unless you've done something. In my case, the only reason I got remembered after it was because I was the first. That was the tag, right? So as soon as the next season of contestants comes out, you are now on your way down to something that you can't prepare for, which is it's amazing to be in the moment while people are reacting to you. It's really tough to internalize. It's like a weird way to say it. I don't think I've ever said it out loud, because you are officially going through the process of not being cool again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like high school all over again. Like, why don't they, is it me? Did I do something wrong? And it's just the format of there's someone else coming and they will be more, it's their time to shine, not yours.
It sounds like a major con. I'm still trying to think what the pros are. You sort of go in wanting all this, and then when you go through it, it's not the greatest feeling in the world.
Well, for me, it was, I'm in 14 years now, over 1,000 episodes of TV, just because I got the chance to get my foot in the door. Right. And I didn't want to be a TV star. Like, that wasn't my thing. And I'm not saying I'm a TV star, but I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be someone who made people laugh for a living. I wanted to be someone who was joking around on sets. It was just, that was the enticing thing. And when a lot of people have that same desire as well, the issue is that you're not hired on reality TV for talent. You are not. You're hired for your personality. It's whether you can develop that talent without the ego that comes from being, the face of a show. Because reading a prompt, you know how it is, reading a prompter, doing teases, throwing to breaks, that is all a skill set that people take years to learn. And for guys like me, you go on and you are just Brad, be Brad. And that's all we need.
And then you walk away from it and you realize, I didn't actually learn how to host. It's a new skill. I got to learn it. I've got a platform to learn it now. And it's sort of like being a beginner after something like that.
It's really uniquely the weirdest process that you can go through, because, I went to school at St. Andrews College. It was a great drama school. I did all the school plays. I have one of those, you did the school play. Like, I knew how to functionally act. I went to university initially for drama. That's what I wanted to do. But you walk into a show like this, and you have to, and I've said this openly, I don't feel bad about it. In order to be the lead on a show or to be a character or contestant, you have to be 50% an actor and then 50% a good person.
There had to have been one weird fan interaction that you're omitting that just really threw you off.
Oh no, I've had a lot. I have had a stalker. I've had everything from the highs to the lows. And also too, as my friends say, as we close off this segment, I was lucky that I never ended up using my powers for evil, as they called it, with women after, because you become, when you're on TV, suddenly now everybody, the access to people wanting to date you just because it's a good story to tell, that becomes an actual thing.
Well, I completely relate. This woman named Lisa Smith won't get out of my DMs, so... Brad Smith, check him out. He's filling in for ... on Chorus's network next week. Yeah.
John Oakley for 2 weeks and then Alex Peterson for a week after that.
All right, Brad, thanks for the chat. I appreciate you coming on the show.
You're the man, David.
Appreciate that. Coming up next, remember when turning 16 meant sprinting your way to get a driver's license? The freedom, the open road. Not anymore. Some teens today are in no rush to get behind the wheel. And it's not just because of rideshare apps. Road rage, viral crash videos, and the old internet changing social lives of young people. These are some of the reasons. More after the break.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
At Blinds.com, it's not just about window treatments. It's about you, your style, your space, your way. Whether you DIY or want the pros to handle it all, you'll have the confidence of knowing it's done right. From free expert design help to our 100% satisfaction guarantee, everything we do is made to fit your life and your windows. Because at Blinds.com, the only thing we treat better than windows is you. Visit Blinds.com now for up to 40% off site-wide, plus a professional measure at no cost. Rules and restrictions apply.
The last show with David Cooper, where bad therapy meets good radio.
Your kid hits that golden age. It's a rite of passage, and after a driving test, a learner's permit, you hand over those car keys reluctantly, but then they hand them back. That is what happened to our next guest. It seems some teens are in no rush to drive, and road rage, rideshare apps, and a world where a license isn't a golden ticket to freedom could be the reasons for it. I'm here with Giselle Rodriguez-Greenwood, a contributor at Business Insider, who this very scenario happened to. Giselle, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You live in Houston?
Yes.
Is that an area where, your license and the car keys from your parents, should they choose to accept that challenge, were this golden ticket when you were younger?
Oh my God. Can I just tell you, when I was younger, I was the girl at 15 who stole her uncle's car just to go visit her boyfriend at another neighborhood. Okay. So when it came to getting my driver's license, it was like, yes, thank you.
I think that's a new credit for this show, the show where guests admit to felonies. But I get it. I'm the same way. I remember watching my brothers and my sister get so excited, counting down the days. And the second they were eligible for that learner's permit, begging the parents to help them learn. Finally, when they could get the full, I can drive alone license. It was just this whole rite of passage and excitement. And that Dodge Caravan that we owned was beaten up like you can't imagine. The one with the wood panel. What a great car. Love that car.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Why don't they bring that back? But the other thing about Houston is, if anybody here is familiar with Houston, Houston is 1 hour away from Houston. There is so much sprawl that you really do need a car. It's impossible to get anywhere without a car.
Except for everywhere. On your phone and the internet, which you can get at all times, at any age, at any minute, at any hour, So when your 17-year-old wasn't that thrilled about driving, did that come as a shock to you?
Absolute shock. Absolute shock. Because I was the one hauling him everywhere, to lacrosse practice, to school. Hey, Mom, I need to go to the grocery store to get the deodorant. Okay, cool. You couldn't have told me that an hour ago when I was at the grocery store. So, yeah, it was a colossal pain just to drag him everywhere. So when it came time, I thought for sure he's all about it. But no.
It's this parallel rite of passage for a parent not to have to schlep their young one to everything. It's like, yeah, I lose access to my car for an hour, but then I don't have to drive my kid to some stupid play date.
Oh, totally. Completely.
So, yeah, tell me about what happened. So your kid's eligible to drive and they're like, nah, I'm fine. I'll just stay on the phone. What happened exactly?
Well, so we were trying to prime him even before he turned 16, which in Texas is the legal age to get a driver's license. So we were visiting my brother in upstate New York, and he had this fancy Porsche 911. And so my brother and I were both like, because my brother also clearly loves to drive. And he was like, Jordan, I'm going to give you the opportunity of a lifetime. He was like, let's take my Porsche. I'll take you to the back roads, here in the Catskills. And you can say that your first drive was a Porsche 911. And of course, my husband too is a big Porsche aficionado. And he was like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. And my son was like, nah, I'm good. So we basically had to drag his into that Porsche and let him, so my brother basically forced him to drive the Porsche. And it was just them two, And again, talk about rite of passage, these two dudes on the roadway, the beautiful winding roads of Catskills. Nobody's on the road except for a tractor who happened to pass the Porsche 911.
Well, I'm actually half on your kid's side here. As a young adult, I like driving. I like the freedom of it, the convenience of it, hanging out with friends without having my parents involved. But the cars themselves, I gave no cares about. And I still to this day, I could be in a jalopy or a Porsche. And for me, it's just it's a great tool to get from point A to point B. In this sense, I like driving, but the car it was, I have no excitement in that. So I'm sort of on your son's side here. There are those that just do not care about cars in that way.
Totally. But at the same time, it's just the freedom of driving, or not driving as the case may be, because he was going so slow that literally anything could have passed him like a fox.
So in your opinion or in your observation, what are kids, or at least your kids' friends and such, what are they more interested in than driving? What gives them more freedom at this age than driving?
Oh, Jesus, video games. I mean, that's it. And I talked about this in my article. This day, what's different from when I was growing up, learning how to drive, and now that he's growing up, they do all their communication with multiplayer video games, so he doesn't have to go anywhere to interact with his friends. He can just go on Roblox or whatever multiplayer, Fortnite, and they can just sit there and talk to each other and be fine.
But you say this with contempt. Like, why is this paradigm shift such a bad thing? I mean, I don't play Roblox with teenagers, and I could never fathom that being fun or a way to socially connect. But I'm not one to judge. I mean, they are socializing. They are spending time together, which is what I did growing up. I just needed to physically get to my buddy's house.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's the lack of vitamin D, really, is what it boils down to. It's like, just go outside, get some sunlight.
All right. So it's the lack of exercise. It's not the socialization of it all that bothers you.
No, but I will argue that other teenagers, like my son's very social because, that's just his personality. So he has no problem talking with adults or other kids or anything like that. But what I've heard from other parents and about their teenagers in particular is that being online a lot has also kind of made them introverted, so that it makes it a little bit harder for them to interact with people that they don't know. So I found that shift very, very dramatic and very interesting. So that's one thing I discovered in talking to other parents about this.
Do you think technology, like watching videos of road rage incidents and hearing about big car pileups the second they happen on social media, do you think it's made driving a little bit more scary, or at least the potential violence of driving, whether it's a car accident, a road rage incident, something that teens are more aware of and more fearful of, whereas when I was growing up, you just never heard about that stuff?
Oh, yeah, totally. And again, technology has made that much more accessible, right? Because now you got TikTok, you have Instagram, anything that happens is instantly put in video format, and it is blasted to the masses, which, growing up, I'm a Gen Xer. In my time, you just had local news to report that, and it would be usually hours later, right? So now the access to information like that is instantaneous and viral as well. So yeah, he's on TikTok all day. What is he watching? And of course the algorithm. We're in Houston. Houston is, I don't know if you know this, the #1 city in the United States for road rage.
Love that.
How insane is that? And so you see instances of this happening all the time. And I can understand his fear. I 100% do. So when he initially expressed that, because I was so frustrated, right? And I was like, come on, Jordan, don't you just want to get on the open road and, have that wind blowing through your hair? And he was like, no, Mom, I might get shot. And I was like, damn, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Now, I know every tech company CEO, maybe not every, but many have said self-driving cars are coming in 6 months, and they've been saying that for 15 years. I think the technology is a little harder to iron out. The corner case is too hard to solve for. But I do think, if not Gen Z, like Gen Alpha, the one after them, I do think eventually self-driving cars are going to kind of be, you'll have the option to drive, but you won't need to. So does it actually matter that these kids aren't learning to drive?
Probably not. And I will tell you, I would argue that time has already come. We were visiting in Austin recently, and they have those Waymo cards. Have you heard of those?
Okay. Oh, I've been in one, and they're terrifying. But they're just not quite there, but we're almost there, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So we rode in one as a family, and the urge, okay, P.S., in case you haven't figured this out, I'm a total control freak. So the urge for me not to reach over and drive this car was so overwhelming. But it was crazy, and it was just insane how well it navigated the road with people in it and everything. So yeah, there may not be a need to drive anymore. You're right.
So maybe let them stay on TikTok and play Roblox and get one of those sun lamps and shine it in their face. Boom, I'm a great parent. There's a reason I don't have kids. Giselle, thanks for talking to me. It was a great article. It's called My 17-Year-Old Isn't Excited About Being Able to Drive. I get his hesitation. Find that in Business Insider. Giselle, thanks again.
Thank you.
Giselle Rodriguez Greenwood is a contributor at Business Insider. Coming up in a few moments, would you eat a burger made entirely of crickets? Well, one restaurant is flipping the script on what belongs on a bun. And it's not for shock value. It's sustainability, taste, and why bugs might be the future of your food. I'm David Cooper. This is The Last Show.
Broadcasting from the neutral zone, where every perspective gets diplomatic immunity. This is The Last Show with David Cooper.
Today, we are serving crickets, the bugs, on a slider bun. I am joined by executive chef Alicia Berkelmans from London, Ontario, Canada's Bicycle Cafe, who's going to talk to us about her shop's bug burgers, a sustainable, perhaps delicious alternative to beef that is turning heads, changing minds, and maybe, just saving the planet one crunchy slider and one less cow fart at a time. How's that for a level of seriousness, Alicia? Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. When you first told somebody that you are going to make burgers at your restaurant out of crickets, what was the general response? I want to know how an idea like this goes from kind of a joke, maybe a joke, you'll tell me, to something that's on a menu for people to buy, to eat, and presumably enjoy.
So the cafe, kind of overall, the mission is climate focused, right? So we sell bikes, we fix bikes. We sell cargo bikes to get people off the road and off their cars. So interestingly enough, the owner, Andrew McClanahan, really wanted crickets on the menu, and he's really wanted crickets on the menu for a while, because it's so innovative and because it's such a great product to help lower those greenhouse gases. So I've been trying to find a way to incorporate it, whether it's in a baked good, because we do everything from scratch. And then summer came around and we got a grill for the patio, and we decided to do a sustainable slider trio. So crickets is one of the burgers, and then we also have ostrich and then an elk and buffalo burger on that same plate.
Sounds tasty. I've had crickets before in Mexico on tacos, so it's not like you'd be the first person ever to serve it in a dish, but maybe in slider form, like in North America. Well, I guess Mexico's in North America. I'm great at geography, David. But in Canada, like, from that viewpoint, it is kind of new.
It is a little bit new, but it's also, I mean, we're a little bit late, right? We're about a few thousand years late to the party as far as consuming crickets are concerned. But what we wanted to do was show people that you don't have to just like crunch on a roasted cricket, even if it's ranch flavored. You can incorporate it into things that you eat every day and not really notice that it's there, but you get all the benefits of those proteins and the nutrients that come with it.
I've had them. I don't love them. They're very crunchy. I think it's more about what you put on it. Like it's kind of just like a crunchy palate that reminds you vaguely of a cockroach, depending on whether you're hiding it between a bun or not. But they don't taste altogether bad. It really depends on how you make it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So like we use a powder, so there is no crunch. It's in a really nice black bean burger that my sous chef Sam came up with. So you really just get that black bean burger flavor, and all of the toppings that she made for it. And that cricket just kind of hides in the background.
Now, is the viewpoint like no farm-raised meat, no cars, or is it more a viewpoint, no driving cars, just bicycles, or is it more a viewpoint of like less of this, more of that in terms of a sustainability attitude? It's not like don't eat red meat, but maybe incorporate less of it in your diet. And it's not like don't drive, but maybe when you can hop on the bike and it's a nice day out and you don't need to get somewhere quick, it's a great idea. So is it more like none of this, or is it more like more of this, less of that?
It's absolutely about balance. So from the bike perspective, obviously we want to see more bikes on the road because more bikes on the road means less emissions. But not everybody can ride year round. Some of our staff ride their bike most of the year, and most of them also have a vehicle because sometimes you just need both. And as far as the food is concerned, I am the grandchild of farmers. So I dare not say that it is, crickets or nothing. I enjoy beef. I love pork. But Ontario has this incredible agricultural variety out there. There was an ostrich boom in the 90s where there were 800 ostrich farms. And people just aren't aware of what's available, and it's so close by that for us, it's about presenting all of these options that people just have no idea exist.
Well, let's talk about those options. Buffalo, elk, ostrich, crickets. It sounds less like a burger joint and more like a Noah's Ark of alternative proteins. What is the next animal that you would like to have join the party?
Oh, I don't know. I'm always down for trying everything twice, right? Like if we can find a good sustainable option, we will use it. So like our buffalo comes from Cam Creek Farm. It's in St. Mary's. They have a biogas digester that turns all of their methane into power for, I think, 600 homes. So it's a closed loop system. So what buffalo on their own would probably have the same emissions as cows, but this particular farm has gone to extreme measures to control those emissions. And that's why we've used them. I'd be open to using anything that can be raised in Ontario, really, as long as it tastes good.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the creative part. How do we get crickets to taste good? Is it really just grinding it up into a powder, or can you eat? I bet I've eaten them whole. Once you wrap your head around it, it's edible, I guess. Some people can't do it. Is it true that you can take things that would you normally think are kind of gross or unpalatable and somehow transform them into a delicious plate?
I mean, poor people have been doing that for generations and generations. Think of all the awful dishes. Like awful as in...
Awful. Yeah, I know, I get it.
Organ meat, yeah.
They call me Liverace because I love liver and I'm slightly effeminate, but that's a conversation for another day. Now, crickets, sustainability, like how much do they eat? Are they eating as much grain and requiring as much water as like a cow, or is it the story a little bit different?
No, it's significantly less. So it's all by pound, right? So like a pound of crickets has a significantly lower impact than a pound of beef. And we've all seen the charts where beef is like the highest greenhouse gas emitter out of any of the meat options. And there are others up there, like lamb is surprisingly high, whereas most poultry is very low, right? So you have this range where crickets kind of fall in just above poultry. So they are a more sustainable option, but not necessarily the most sustainable option. Ostrich actually beats them out.
Oh, do they? I remember in the 90s, everyone was talking about ostrich burgers, and then it all just suddenly died and faded away. There was a real fad there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. And it is that kind of... So it happened with crickets, too, for a little while, where it gets a little bit too close to the sun, burns out, and that's the end of the fad. But there's no reason to keep going back to it. Like if this is the most sustainable option, or if for whatever reason ostriches do really well in Ontario and they're very sustainable, why not revisit that? Likewise with elk. Elk is very similar to caribou. That's something that Indigenous people have been eating here for generations as well, right? We can revisit those meat sources and pull ourselves away from these mass-produced meats like beef and pork and chicken.
Have you had picky eaters come in with closed minds for whatever reason? They try these burger trios with the crickets and the elk and the buffalo. They try it and they're like, wow, I'm so glad I tried that. It actually wasn't that bad, or I loved it.
Not necessarily closed minds. No, I think some people are just more adventurous than others, and we have other offerings to help people along with that. They don't have to have the cricket burger. But I think overall the response has been very positive.
Good.
Everybody's really enjoyed it. It's more people are surprised that they can't taste it and that it's not crunchy.
Well, you can find Alicia Berkelmans as executive chef at London Bicycle Cafe in London, Ontario, Canada. Alicia, thanks for sharing this with me. I appreciate the chat about cricket burgers.
Thanks so much for having me.
Do you like what you hear, but you missed some of tonight's show, or you're not going to be with us on a given evening and you want to catch what you missed? Well, fear not, The Last Show is available as a podcast. Head to www.lastshow.pizza. That's .pizza, lastshow.pizza, not .com, never .com. There you can find out details of our podcast and how to subscribe. And please do, though I can't tell you what to do because I'm not your mother and I'm not your psychiatrist. That's a wrap on Tuesday night. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you've got questions, comments, feedback, anything you want to tell us, suggestions for what to cover on the show, a second opinion on what you just told your therapist, or to disclose what your favorite kind of fruit is, feel free to email me. My email address, david@thelastshow. That's actually not my email address. It's david@lastshow.pizza. That's david@lastshow.pizza, not .com. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out. I'll reply, unless you scare me or something. I'm David Cooper. This is Not the First Show, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Thanks.
Mom and Dad, the school supplies you buy me this year will mostly end up in my mouth. Maybe shop low prices for school at Amazon, so I don't eat up all your money. Just something to chew on. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.